This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Hi, good morning to you. And today on Good Morning Jacksonville, there are more than 1,000 cases of coronavirus now on the First Coast. This is the country saw the deadliest day of the pandemic so far, at least nationwide. On the First Coast, a little bit better news to report, at least on the death front. Plus, the story of a family split up with the coronavirus at the delivery room. My goodness. And the amazing birthday celebration for an 11-year-old boy. In times of social distancing, we keep seeing these things, and they just get better and better. Good morning to you. We're so glad you're waking up with us. It is Thursday. We made it to it, and it is April 9th. Welcome in, welcome in. All right, I'm Lou Turner. We got the GMJ crew ready to go starting at 4:30. Katie Jeffries in the house with us, our 4:30 anchor, and Mike Prangley, meteorologist, standing by as well. The work from home continues. We'll start with Katie. Good morning to you. How are you?
Hey, I am feeling good. Woke up this morning. I'm ready to tackle the day. It's all about attitude when you start out in the morning. So feeling good, and I'm hoping you're feeling good too, Lou.
Yes, happy and healthy. Thank you for that, Katie. Mike Prangley standing by with a look at our morning forecast. Hello, Mike.
Hello. Well, we got to start with those thunderstorms last night. So a big wake-up call. I got up in the middle of the night, moved some furniture, little patio furniture, moved it in.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. Good to check in with you. We'll see Katie in just a moment as well. All right, now the very latest on the coronavirus pandemic. There are now more than 1,000 cases with 26 deaths to report to you here on the First Coast. That's in total. Now, that'll be 76 new cases from yesterday morning, but as mentioned at the top of this broadcast, there are no new reports of anyone passing away because of COVID-19, at least locally now, since this time yesterday when we were speaking. Okay, so in the last 24 hours, no new deaths to report. In Northeast Florida, these are the counties with the most cases. Now, you may not see your county on there. That's because you don't have one of the most cases. The top 7 that we've got, or 6 that you can see on the screen right now. Duval tops the list, and will continue to, considering 1 million people live in Duval County. 557 people infected in Duval County with coronavirus, and still 10 deaths to report to you. St. Johns County follows with 156 cases and 2 deaths. Clay County reports 99 cases and 7 people who have died. Now to Southeast Georgia, where Ware County has now begun reporting the most cases with 43 and 3 people who have passed away. Pierce then follows with 39 cases and 1 death. In Glenn County at this hour, there are 32 cases of coronavirus. In total, there are now more than 15,000 cases in Florida. 323 people have died in total in Florida. 89% of the tests, though, have shown negative results across the state. In Georgia, though, authorities report more than 10,000 coronavirus cases with 370 deaths. In Georgia now, 74% of the tests have come back negative. Nationwide, a little more grim picture now. The U.S. suffered its deadliest day of the coronavirus pandemic so far. Between Tuesday and Wednesday, in the 24-hour period there, nearly 2,000 people died from COVID-19. The 3 things you should know about the situation in the U.S. at this hour: there are more than 432,000 confirmed coronavirus cases now. More than 14,000 people have died. But folks, more than 23,000 have recovered. Again, that only accounts for 37,000 of the more than 400,000 people who have it. A lot to be determined. Hopefully the recoveries continue to outpace the deaths in this situation. The next 2 weeks certainly will be telling.
This measure will allow us to deploy more resources to communities in need, lend support to frontline medical providers, and keep preparing as we brace for potential patient surge in healthcare facilities.
So that's Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia. He has extended the state's state of emergency until May 13. That order was set to expire in 4 days. The health emergency declaration will continue to help to get the state necessary resources to fight the coronavirus, keeping in mind the shelter-in-place order in the state is still set to expire on the 13th of April now. And the extended health emergency order will expire before the Georgia presidential primary, which has been rescheduled to May 19th. The Secretary of State says he will send forms to every voter in Georgia, allowing them to request absentee ballots to vote in the primary. Of course, there's a growing push for some Democrats to move the nationwide vote by mail over worries that in-person voting could lead to a further spread of the virus, though with reports that Bernie Sanders is dropping out of the race. All of this, at least in the presidential side of things of the primary, Just kind of might be a moot point. The city of St. Augustine trying to help small businesses by reducing rent to those who lease city properties. The measure would benefit about 30 small businesses, some along St. George Street, some are at the city marina, and others at the Leitner Museum courtyard. The city has cut the rent in half for April and May.
When you found out the news that your rent was going to be reduced, what'd you think? What was your first thought?
That was one of those hallelujah moments.
It's really, really difficult for them to survive, and we just want to give them a little extra financial cushion, if you would, in this very little gesture to help them out.
That's a fantastic gesture for sure, and most of the businesses that will see their rent reduced have had to close temporarily anyway and have zero income because of the coronavirus, something absolutely outside of their control. And right now, a lot of people do not know when they're going to receive another paycheck. And we are aware that just managing to pay the bills and buying food is so extremely stressful. So to keep your finances afloat, a financial expert from the University of Florida says the first thing you need to do right now is make yourself a budget and stick to it. Now, on that budget, you need to focus on the bills that you can pay and then the bills that you can't. Also, this is the time to set priorities. Stick to the financial plan.
There's a lot of things that you don't have control over right now, and you can only stress about those so much. So I encourage people to focus on the actions that they can take first to get a sense of not only of positive momentum, of ownership of the situation.
And remember what we've been telling you about things that you might not be able to pay for, you just can't do. You call those companies and they're being super flexible with you right now about working out payment plans and or deferred payments. And good news, if you are waiting for those federal stimulus checks to help out with your budget, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says direct deposits could begin as early as next week. Keeping in mind that if the IRS needs to send you a paper check, you could have to wait a lot longer, perhaps even till October, to get a paper check in the form of relief money. So setting up that direct deposit is going to be extraordinarily important. And we know a lot of you are trying to file for unemployment. Let me emphasize the trying to part. There's so much work going on and those websites have been sluggish. Submitting your application online has been tough. So here are some other ways that you can do it. Governor Ron DeSantis says paper applications are available. Just go to your local FedEx store. There's a partnership between FedEx and the state. You can get the form, even mail them out right there in the store. You can also go to our website, folks, firstcoastnews.com. We've got the application form for you. All you have to do is look for this story in the search tab. You can type in unemployment benefits, or you can simply go to our live blog. Very simple. There's the application. You can print it out and mail it in there as well if the website is just too sluggish. If you want more details about who exactly is eligible, how much you could get, and how to get your updated bank information to the Treasury Department for your direct deposit, all you have to do, text message us. This is another simple way to get the information. You've got the phone handy. We know you do. This is a text message you send, not a phone call. If you write the word check in the text dialog box and send it to the phone number 904-633-8808, we will send all the information about the checks coming in and how to file for unemployment to your phone. All right, a group of local doctors gathered outside Baptist Medical Center to pray, not only for their patients, but for each other. A touching story here from Kaylee Tracy.
Amen. Standing in their scrubs 6 feet apart, doctors and nurses from the First Coast look to a higher power for healing Wednesday.
Great stuff. All right, Kaylee, thank you so much. And as we mentioned before, our Katie Jeffries anchoring from home as we promote social distancing here at our television station. So let's get to her for continuing coverage of the coronavirus. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Lou. So let's talk about some more stories of things that are happening locally here in your fast lane. So 2 more employees at Publix have tested positive for coronavirus. Now, the latest location is 1 employee at the Duval Station Road store in Jacksonville. Also another location along Front Street in Ponte Vedra. Now, last week we told you about 2 other cases at stores along Atlantic Boulevard and 103rd Street, also in Jacksonville. 2 Gate gas stations in our area had to be cleaned after employees tested positive for COVID-19. The locations, the Gate gas station at Southside and Touchton in Jacksonville. The other location in the World Golf Village neighborhood on International Golf Parkway near St. Augustine. Those gas stations have since reopened. The Mayo Clinic asking for your drawings, letters, and notes of encouragement for their healthcare workers on the front lines fighting coronavirus. You can address your works of art to the Mayo Clinic Administration at 4500 San Pablo Road in Jacksonville. And the Jacksonville Jaguars will donate 45,000 masks to the First Coast. The club says the masks will be distributed to local companies still operating and interacting with the public. Nonprofit groups focused on local COVID-19 efforts will also get them. The masks will be team branded. That idea inspired by Tony Baselli, who was overcoming the diagnosis of coronavirus. I'm very glad to see that he is back home with his family as well. Back to you, Lou.
Yeah, he said it really had him on his butt, you know what I mean? But recovering and doing well, thank goodness for that. All right, Katie, we appreciate it. The measures to contain the coronavirus, splitting couples up in the delivery room. Biggest day of their lives, you know? After the break, the reunion of a newly born family.
And we're taking a look at amazing weather pictures. We'll cue those up and take you all the way through Easter weekend.
Hi, welcome back in. As we know, the birth of a child is one of, if not the most proud and important moment in the life of a parent. But with COVID-19, some expectant mothers are having to deliver without their loved ones right there by them in the room. And that was the case for one First Coast woman who couldn't have her husband by her side. On Your Side's Robert Bradfield shares their story.
We got a little surprise for you.
They say good things come in small packages.
Now, your most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, sponsored by AC Designs.
Good morning. Thank you for your trust and thanks for being with us.
Buckled in, keeping my arms inside the vehicle. Mike, thank you. More money could be coming from the federal government to help businesses affected by the coronavirus ahead. The bill lawmakers will consider today. Hi, welcome back in our national news now. President Donald Trump says the White House delivered nearly 11 million N95 masks to hotspots around the country. He also said that to date they have shipped out 8,000 ventilators with almost 10,000 more ready to go if they are needed. Health experts say the worst projections for the pandemic could be avoided if people continue practicing the social distancing that we've all been doing. Today, Congress will consider a new bill providing an additional $250 billion to help small businesses affected by coronavirus. It's all part of the new Paycheck Protection Program. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he hopes to approve the extra money by unanimous consent or phone vote even. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she hopes to pass the bill on Friday. Air travel dropped off so dramatically in the last several weeks since the start of this whole crisis. The Transportation Security Administration says the number of passengers going through security every year was roughly the same at the beginning of March. But in the second half of March, that number dropped from 2.5 million down to 1.3 million. And this week, TSA saw fewer than 100,000 people go through checkpoints. Wow. And in a very big shakeup in the Democratic race for the White House, Senator Bernie Sanders officially suspended his 2020 presidential campaign yesterday. He did say it was a difficult and painful decision. The Vermont senator was the only candidate left in the field challenging Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden. So the former vice president, still more than 700 delegates from officially winning the nomination, but he is now the apparent nominee to go up against President Donald Trump.
Now, your most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, sponsored by AC Designs.
Hey, it's just great to wake up with you in a very warm, muggy start. The Muggies are back.
Mike, thank you. Birthday celebrations in the time of social distancing, they're not an easy thing to do, and just like everything else, forcing some ingenuity and creativity. After the break, how drivers in Minnesota made this birthday party an unforgettable one. Welcome back in. So a Minnesota boy recently got to celebrate his birthday fueled by his passion for cars. Boyd Hoopert from our sister station, Carol 11 News in Minneapolis, witnessed the social media event that turned into a massive birthday parade.
A couple dozen cars